Hello, I'm so excited you are here and welcome to the workshop on taking your idea and gaining clarity on it and creating an offer that fits into your life. Now, a little bit about me. If you've been following along my journey for the last decade, you know who I am. I'm Lauren Ricks, and I started out as a network marketer back in my early 20s as a little baby. I was 21 when I started in network marketing, and it was like the perfect place for me to start in learning how to build a business, right? I feel like network marketing is the perfect like business in a box. And I learned a lot of things over the last decade in being in network marketing. Over the last couple years, I have transitioned into my own mentoring and helping women, specifically moms, build businesses, take their ideas and really create something that fits into their life, right? I went on my own journey of unbecoming and becoming, and that's a huge part of what I like to mentor moms on, women on, and then creating something that fits into their life that brings them fulfillment, brings them purpose. We are so much more than moms, and I love to be able to bring that out in you, right? So if you are here, you're here because you're like, I have this idea, I have this passion, I have this like calling on my life, these skills, and you maybe want to get out of your day job, your corporate job, or you want to maybe you're a stay-at-home mom and you want to create something more purpose, or you want to create an income from home, an income stream from home. Maybe you are like a couple of my other clients. I have a client who is a physical therapist, and she wanted to take her specialty and bring it to the online world. So we created online offers. I have a client right now who was a personal trainer for many years, and now she has a passion for horses, and we created something for her on the online space. I had somebody come in who was really passionate about finances, and what she was doing in her job, her day job, had nothing to do with finances, and she wanted to create something with finances. So it doesn't matter what your idea is, what your skill is, what your passions are, what your gifts are, talents, whatever God gave you, right? You're here, you have something you want to create into reality, whether it is a business offer, whether it maybe is just a blog, whether it's a podcast, whether it's an Etsy shop to sell something. You're here and you're like, I have this thing that God keeps putting on my heart, and I don't know what to do with it. You are in the right place, my friend. So we're going to go over this workshop quickly because I respect your time. And I know, especially if you're a mom, you're like trying to carve out this little bit of time to listen to this, to really get maybe clarity on your ideas and your passions and your skills and your education, and really figure out like, what can I do with this, right? Now, I will say, this is going to be very generalized because I'm trying to serve all of you who are listening, and everybody's ideas are going to be different, right? So if you want more of this, make sure that you reach out to me. You send me an email. You maybe find me on social media. If I'm on social media at this time, you check out my podcast. I do have a podcast episode where I do go through this process as well, that I will link for you guys if you want to listen to the audio version of this. But let's get into it. The first thing I like to start with when it comes to my clients in my process on really clarifying your ideas and your hobbies, passions, all of it, right? We need to look at it. And that is why I also gave you guys a workbook. And this is so important because this is like the nitty-gritty. This is like the inner work of really pulling out all the things that, one, your ideas you have, right? The things you love, the things you're passionate about, the skills you have, the education you have, the callings on your life, the gifts God has given you, the talents God has given you. Like, this workbook will help you kind of weed through all of that. So print that out, start working through that. That is part one, is really figuring out, what is this thing? Now, if you came to here and you're like, I have this idea, I want to help women in X, Y, and Z, great. Let's like get more clear on it. Let's get really like pull it out more, right? So go through those questions. Some of them might pertain to you if you have no idea and you just have like all these passions and ideas and like skill sets and education. This will really help you like clarify that, right? But if you are somebody and you're like, I know I want to serve women in finances, for example. Let's use my client who came to me and she was like, I have this passion that God keeps putting on my heart to help women with finances and help them gain control of their finances. Okay, perfect. I don't know what to do with it. Perfect. She has that idea. So if you have the idea and you're clear on what the idea is, the next step, part 2, is really looking at how are you going to serve these people? Who are you going to serve, right? The who and the how. And it's really the who are you going to serve with this? So it might be, you're coming and you're like, I really want to serve moms because I'm seeing this need for moms. My one client who is a physical therapist and she specializes in pelvic health. She's like, I want to serve, obviously she wants to serve moms postpartum, strengthen their pelvic floor, heal their core after pregnancy. That's a very specific niche, right? I don't necessarily believe in niching down. I believe maybe each offer could have a specific niche, but it's also helpful to know who you're going to serve, right? Because you don't want to have your content, your marketing talking to one specific person when really you want to serve a different person, right? So you want to make sure like who you're talking to is who you want to serve in the container you want to create, right? So example, if you're speaking to women, but really your offer you're creating is specific to pregnancy or pregnant moms or postpartum moms, like you want to make sure you know who you want to serve with the offer you want to create. Now, this can be different for every single thing, right? It can also be maybe more generalized if you're creating a blog or you're creating a podcast or something like that. But for this part, who is it that you want to serve, and how, like, what is the transformation they're going to get when they're working with you? What are the results they're going to get? What is the process you're going to bring them through? Looking at like your experience, right? Because I truly believe that God gives you an experience to help serve other people that are going through that same experience. So you can look back and help them through their experience, right? So what experiences have you been through? How can you serve the people who God is putting in your life now to help them through that process, right? So looking at what your process was, how did you get to here? How did you become financially secure? Or how did you take control of your finances? How did you heal your core after you had babies? How did you take your love for horses and create something along with your skill of personal training? Like the process there, looking at your own personal process. For me, this is like this workshop you're looking at, right? Like I have over the last umpteen years been mentored, been in containers, been in courses, seen so many things of how to create an offer. And I use my own process. And now I'm teaching it you guys because I believe in simplifying. I believe in teaching something that has been useful for me and teaching it to other women, other people to help them through the process. And it will help you stop throwing spaghetti at the wall. Okay. It will help you like basically shorten the gap on what and how to get to where you want to go, right? So what is the result you're going to provide? What is the transformation? What is the process? Who do you want to serve? That's like part 2. Again, in the workbook, it helps you out through that, right? Part 3 is, and this is where I believe I bring a different spin to this because I am a mom, right? So everything I do has to fit into my life. I am not going to sacrifice working 40 hours a day, quote unquote, 24 hours a day to build a business if I'm missing moments with my children, right? If I'm missing moments with my family that I truly want to be at, right? I don't want to have to say, I can't go with you to do that because I have to do X, Y, and Z, right? I really want to make sure that what you are creating fits into your life, especially if you are a mom, or a working woman, like, or a man, if you're a man and you're watching this, like making sure it fits into your life so you are not sacrificing your top priorities. Okay. So this is where I'm different, where we're going to look at the season of life you're in. What is the season of life you're in? This is very important because I have seen over the last decade of me being in the online space, so many women building businesses that are not aligned with their season of life. And then what happens is they get to the quote unquote top or they get to a year or two in and they are burnt the F out because they didn't look at how they were creating a business and how it fit into their life now. Yes, I talk about your ideal day. Yes, I talk about what you want your days to look like, what your goals are, what your desires are. And that's great to strive for and work towards. But if you are building a business and it does not fit into your day now, and you are constantly burnt out at the end of each day, something has to shift. Okay. So that's why in this process, we look at what season of life you're in. If you are a stay-at-home mom and you have babies attached to you 24/7, it is going to be very hard for you to schedule one-on-one calls. Okay. That is probably not going to be the best way to build a business for you in this season of life. Sure, when your kids go to school or they're at daycare and you have that space, setting up one-on-one calls would, could, should work, right? But if you're looking at your day life right now and you're like, okay, I have a baby that's nursing, I have a 2-year-old that's running around all the time, naps are scarce, and when they are napping, I'm like napping, or I'm eating, or I'm like posting, or I'm connecting with people, like there is no time for one-on-one hour calls, right? So we look at what could you do instead, right? So looking at your season of life, if you are a working mom and you are at a day job from 9 to 5, right? And there's no wiggle room in there. Like you are at that job from 9 to 5 and you are mom mode before that and you are mom mode after that. One-on-one calls again might not be the best thing, or creating a course that's really intensive, or maybe even like a group aspect might not even be for you, right? Everything we're looking at, and we're looking at all offers and looking at how does it fit into your season of life now. Yes, you can shift. A year from now, you might shift. Example, for me, Parker, my daughter, is 3.5 right now, and she is with me 24/7. Like right now, she's not with me because my husband has the kids going to do something with him. And normally she's with me 24/7. My 6.5-year-old is in school right now. So he's at school from like 8 to 4, and she's with me. I have like 2 hours every day I can use for our childcare at the rec center, which I use for podcasting, for like recording podcasts, some content creating type stuff, emails a little bit, and then I work out. So for me, it is not ideal in this season of life to be scheduling one-on-one calls with people. That just doesn't help serve me. So what do I do instead is I have Voxer mentoring. I have my Voxer is open. That's where I do a majority, 95% of my mentoring and my coaching is done in my Voxer because I can do it on the go. I can do it when I'm walking her outside. I can do it when she's playing in the sandbox and I'm, doing something else. Like I can do it on the go for me, and that serves me and it works for me really well because I do not have the space to do 1-hour calls multiple times a day throughout the week. Okay. That's how I do it. Now you might be looking at it and you're like, I don't have kids. My job is part-time, or I work part-time, I work full-time, but I have mornings and evenings where I can do one-on-one calls and I love one-on-one calls. Then by golly, do one-on-one calls. Like it's totally looking at where you are in your season of life. And this is the most important piece of it because it needs to fit into your life. You can pivot. When Parker gets to kindergarten and she's in school full-time, will I take on one-on-one clients that are like calls? Probably, because I love talking to women one-on-one, right? But right now in the season of life, it's Voxer mentoring, right? So looking at the season of life you are in, and also looking at the season of life your ideal person is in. So if she also is a stay-at-home mom or a working mom and she is already having a hard time prioritizing herself, it's going to be probably really hard for her to prioritize a 1-hour call, right? I'm just going to be honest. It's what I've seen, right? So looking at that also and looking at what season of life your ideal client is in is going to be very helpful for you to create offers, content, your thing, right? Aligned with where they are, right? So the next thing we're doing is once you figure out how you want to help them, right? Your idea, your passion, and like really taking that and looking at it, clarifying it, seeing how you can truly help somebody. And then you look at the process that you want to take them through, the results they're going to get through your process. And you look at your season of life, you look at your ideal person season of life. The next thing is, what the hell do you want to create, right? There's so many different things you can create. You can create different offers that are online offers, right? It could be a course, it could be a membership, it could be a free webinar like this, like a workshop, it could be master classes, it could be you could be doing mentoring in Voxer like I do, and there's many different like even offers from that, right? There's so many different ways you can build a business. That's why it's so hard to just be like, here's the one way, right? But you can do things online, like I said. So the online video version of this, right? You can be doing the mentoring, the one-on-one mentoring, whether it's in Voxer or one-on-one calls where you're getting on calls with them. It could be mastermind vibes where you're doing it with a group, right? And it's on Voxer, or it's in a group vibe mastermind, right? Where it's more of them. It could be something where you're like, I'm not ready to create a business yet, but I want to get my voice out there. I want to get my content out there. I want to get my education and my value out there. What's going to be best for you? Is it going to be writing? You want to start a blog? Do you want to start videos? You could start a video thing on a video channel on YouTube. Do you want to start a podcast? And what's great about those three things is they're off of social media and they're going to live forever, right? Social media is great. It's great for connecting with people, but also know that if you put all your eggs in one basket, aka social media, and you don't build anything that's going to live forever, like podcasting or a YouTube channel or a blog, your content on social media is eventually going to disappear, right? It has like 24 hours if you're creating a story. The algorithm on social media is like wonky. Every day it's different. So making sure you're creating, yes, content on social media, but also something that's long form that's going to live forever, like a YouTube video, YouTube channel, podcasting, or a blog, right? Making sure you're creating something that's going to live forever. So maybe it's something like that. You're just like, I have this idea and I want to just start getting value out there. I want to just start serving women. Where do I start? Pick one of those things, right? Do you like being on video? Great. Do you like just talking in your pajamas while you're drinking coffee? Podcasting is for you. Podcasting is my jam. If you are a great writer and you want to write, start a blog, right? Maybe you're somebody who you're like, I don't want to necessarily do any of that, but I have this skill set from being a teacher and I want to create like templates or journals or something like that that's going to serve my niche, other teachers, and help them really like maybe, or parents even. Oh my gosh, so many ideas just came to me from that topic. If you are a teacher, please reach out to me. I have some ideas for you. Where you can create Etsy templates, like maybe it's coloring journals for Amazon. Like there's so many different things, right? Building a business doesn't just have to be online, right? Maybe you're coming to me and you are online and you're like, I want to take it more like out. I want to be face-to-face with people. I want to interact with people and be able to actually physically hug them. What can we do, right? Really looking at all the different ways. There's so many different ways out there. But if you are somebody who you're like, I am at home and I want to build something from home that I can do, after my babies go to bed at night for an hour, or in the morning in an hour, or while they're napping for an hour, what can that look like? Look at these different offers, right? So that is my process, right? That is the process I take my clients through in my creation experience, in my masterminds, in my my microminds, right? Like that is the process that I take people through. And depending on when you're watching this, I might even have a course that you can go through if you want to go even deeper into this. But if you're like, I'm ready to go, make sure you check out the workbook. Please, please, please take time to fill out the workbook. That will help you gain so much clarity on what it is you want to offer the world that's aligned with you and God's purpose for you, right? And then if you have any other questions, please reach out to me. You can email me at laurenricksfit@gmail.com and ask about the different ways to work with me. And if you have any other questions, please, please, please feel free to reach out. You can find me on social media. You can email me. You can find my podcast, and I'll put all those links somewhere for you guys to check out. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you taking your time to learn how you can start. The biggest thing that stops people is the fear of starting. And once you can start, you take that idea and you just take one step. What's your next 3 steps, right? It's figuring out what it is you want to even do, the idea, getting clarity on that, who it is you want to serve and how do you want to serve them. Those are great things to just start with, right? And looking at that. So what are your next 1 to 2 steps, and how can you just take them one at a time? I think so often we get paralyzed because we have this idea and then we maybe see the vision of the end and we don't know the A through Z plan. And we don't need to know the A through Z plan. We just need to know what's step A. Do that. What's step B? Do that. What's step C? Do that, right? And always come back to God and be like, God, what's my next step? And be open to see what it is. He will bring that to you. But we need to be able to let go of like, I need to have all my plans in order, all my steps in order before I can start. And you need to just start. And this is your first step. Listening to this. Your next step might be reaching out to me. It might be listening to my podcast episodes. It might be reaching out to another mentor to start working with. It might be reaching out to me to start working with. It might be actually taking a step and writing your first blog post, or figuring out how to start a blog, or how to start a podcast, or maybe it's writing your first piece of content to put on social media to say, hey, I have this idea and I want to start doing this, right? Everybody's first step is going to be different depending on how big and how little and where you are in your journey, right? So take the first step today. I would love to hear what your first step is. Please reach out to me and let me know what your first step is. Tag me on social media. Let me know what your first step is. And I will see you guys hopefully soon in another container. And I'm just truly honored you're here, and I'm here cheering you on. Take the first step, start, and let's go.